Hi, I'm Shalane from TSC Tuition, and today I'll be talking about the prompt, how do Ransom and Invictus explore the idea of knowing your enemy? Ransom and Invictus are a pretty popular pairing for the comparative task, and this year quite a few of our students have gotten the prompt about the importance of knowing your enemy. This prompt is challenging for a number of reasons. Firstly, there's not exactly a theme that students are asked to talk about, so that bit's unclear. And the other thing is the phrase, knowing your enemy, is rather casual in my opinion, and so a lot of students are misled by that. Before I go any further, I have to stress that there is no correct way of tackling a prompt. That is, there is no checklist of ideas that you need to talk about in order to get full marks. So there can be more than one way of tackling this prompt, depending on who you are and what your thoughts are. Our students who have been assigned this prompt for a practice essay task have all come up with their own ways of tackling it. What I'm going to suggest in the next few minutes is therefore a general guideline only and not a definitive way of tackling the prompt. Like I said earlier, one of the major challenges with this particular prompt is that there is no theme defined by the prompt. It's not quite clear what exactly the prompt is asking you to talk about in terms of themes. So it's important for students to identify those themes for themselves. The idea of knowing your enemy is quite a broad one. So first of all, identify what that means. Simply put, knowing your enemy means to understand your enemy. To understand their thoughts, their motivations, their reasons for doing what they do, their desires, their fears, their relationships. The second part to that phrase is to use what you know of your enemy to your advantage, or to achieve your goals. Now, in the two texts, Ransom and Invictus, there is a lot of this going on. Priam and Achilles, for example, have to come to a mutual understanding of each other at the end of the novel in order to get what they want out of that meeting. Throughout the novel, these two men undergo a series of transformations in their character so that they can reach that point of understanding where the other person's coming from. But before they reach that point, they must also come to understand themselves better. The same applies to the characters of Invictus. Francois, for example, must come to a better understanding of himself and what he wants as leader of the team before he can convince the rest of the team to join in his quest. In considering this, I think some really easy themes to talk about in regards to this prompt are themes like leadership, transformation, knowing yourself or self-discovery, and change. Again, this is not an exhaustive list of themes that you can talk about. If you look at this prompt and you can think of other themes that you think would be equally applicable, then by all means go ahead and do that. But I think this list of themes that I've suggested are fairly easy, fairly obvious, and fairly achievable for most students to discuss. The second challenge of this prompt is the casual use of language. Because the phrase "know your enemy" is rather colloquial and students therefore feel like they can adopt the same register of language. My suggestion is to keep it as formal as you can. I have another video about using formal language in essay writing, so go ahead and check that out and I won't repeat that here. To avoid falling into the trap of using informal language in your essay, I would refrain from the use of "your" completely. When you have to use the phrase "know your enemy," I would just rephrase it to something like understanding the enemy, sympathizing with the opposition, gaining insights into the enemy's motives. There is simply no easy way of using the phrase "know your enemy" while keeping up that register of formality that's required in an essay. So I hope that was helpful. As always, like and subscribe to this channel and other social medias to get all of our tips and tricks to achieving your best score in a VC English subject. And as always, if you'd like to get some one-to-one tutoring in the eastern suburbs of Melbourne, please contact us and we can send someone to you. Thanks for watching.